start forming those relationships? Because I think we need people that are not just focused on, is Detroit going to survive or is our state going to survive, and how are we going to do it all together?
I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to run 3.5 years ago. And so I did form some relationships with people who I can pick up on the phone and call today. But because of term limits, guess what?
A lot of them
they're gone.
Okay.
And so what I will dedicate myself to as we get closer and hopefully get through a successful primary is immediately beginning to reach out to those folks who make it past the primary. Because that's when before the January time where we take our oath and we get to work, there is some critical ground that needs to be laid between the primary and the time we take office. The thing about Detroit that's so critical, most people say you have a general election, right? Not really. State legislators are voted on and pass through a primary process. Mm-hmm. Because we are such a heavily Democratic city, mm-hmm. the Democrat wins. So there is no November election for somebody who can't pass the August 3rd muster. That's why it's critical for people to vote on August 3rd mm-hmm. In the primary and understand how important that is in the process. Last time I ran, less than 5,000 people voted in the 4th district. Mm. Each district is apportioned based on 66 to 80,000 people. 5,000 voted. Wow. And so it is absolutely critical that people take the time mm-hmm. to and participate in the process early.
298-1200 is our number if you have a question for Maureen Stapleton. She's a candidate for a state representative in the 4th district. Maureen Stapleton is a local small business owner, former director of organizational effectiveness for Wayne County. She's a Detroit native. She graduated from Howard University in Washington, D.C., and recently completed her master's degree at Bowling Green State University. She's a graduate of the Michigan Political Leadership Program and worships at Plymouth United Church of Christ. You said only 5,000 people voted in your district the last time. How do you energize the voters over there to help them understand? Because usually voters don't grasp how important it is to vote for our elected officials who are going to Lansing and what that means to them in their neighborhood. So to use a line from a Denzel Washington movie, explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Explain to us and the voters who are listening how important it is for them to vote and for them to stay active and involved in government at the local level, because it affects what happens at your level. Help them understand.
If you care about the potholes that aren't filled in this city, then you need to pay attention who's going to represent you at the state level. Mm-hmm. That is decided at the state. Mm-hmm. How much money is apportioned to come down to the local road commission so that they can do their job. Mm-hmm. If you care about public safety, policing, fire, homeland security, then you want to be counted in the census, because guess what? The census is used for state revenue sharing. Mm-hmm. So if you care about the number of police officers who are on the street, then you need to pay attention who's going to serve you in Lansing, because it's those people who decide exactly how much money, especially on the statutory side, mm-hmm. that comes down, that filters down to local municipalities for public service or public safety. One of the things that people thought about, even I thought about revenue sharing before I ran 3.5 years ago, is that it's a number that's fixed and that it comes down to us based on population. Well, that's the constitutional side of it. Mm-hmm. There's a statutory side that the State House and the State Senate play with every year to fill gaps and take away money here and put money there to fund the kind of pet things that they need mm-hmm. to get done. Mm-hmm. That happens at the state. So if you care about roads, if you care about public safety, if you care about what's happening with our children, then you need to care what happens in an August 3rd primary.
Okay. It seems at times that Detroit is kind of under siege at the state level. A lot of things that happens at the state level is not to our benefit in the past. As one elected official, how are you going to Lansing, someone with your experience and your knowledge, and certainly you have a vast level of experience and knowledge. How will you beat that back? This air of attack that Detroit seems to be under at times from officials, elected officials throughout the state. What's your stance on that?
Detroit is the whipping post. It is often of those that aren't from here, uses us as an excuse of what's happening wrong in this state, and instead of using us as the jewel that will turn us around and make things possible in the future. And I think, John, the way you do that is you go up, you work hard every day. You don't go up with a chip on your shoulder, because I think often that is an issue. We go up with pride, and I am proud of being a Detroiter, but not with a chip on my shoulder. And going up open and ready to listen to other people's issues too.
Right.
Because again, I think it's important when you go up and you're representing the fight here, you got to go up with the right attitude, with the right demeanor, with openness to the process. And when you do that, I think you get that back. I'm a big proponent of what you put in the world, what you put out, you get back.
Right.
And I do believe that sometimes we go up with an attitude and with a chip on our shoulder, because the state has done us wrong. And we are angry and we are mad. But you need to sometimes put that to the side and ask, okay, though I'm mad, what is it that I can do to convince you that if Detroit goes, so goes the rest of us? And so I think you just continue to talk. You can continue to work with people across the aisle. You continue to work with people on your side of the aisle that don't have your interests in all cases, and form those coalitions.
298-1200 is our number. Again, share with the people the boundaries and how they can help you, how they get in contact with you, and what they can do to assist you in your effort.
More than anything else, people can visit www.Stapleton, the number 4, State Rep, www.Stapleton4staterep.com, and that is my website, and there's all sorts of ways to communicate with me there. You can call 313-574-3537. That's 574-3537. That's our campaign number. Somebody is answering that phone 7 days a week. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's not. But we are looking for folks to walk with us. Today, I'm just literally coming in from walking a district, actually a district and a half, precinct and a half in one district. And so we are going to be walking every day. All campaigns. I saw a recent state rep somewhere, and she said, you win campaigns by dollars and doors. So if someone wants to donate, there's a mechanism on my website to do that. Walk with me, hit some doors, and tell people that you know that live in Indian Village, Midtown, Lafayette Park, Boston, Edison, everything east of the 2nd, that there are qualified people who are running. You will have people approach you in the next few months asking for their support, and I challenge you to challenge them. What have you done? Where have you been? What is your education? And what makes you the most prepared? I believe the 25 years I have served behind the scenes in public service have prepared me. I certainly understand how every dollar that's apportioned at the state level affects someone in local government and their ability to serve. And I believe that with all of that knowledge and experience, I can make an impact.
Great. Well, we want to thank you for coming in. I know you got a lot to do. There's a lot of work to do, and
more neighborhoods to
walk.
walk.
Going walking, going to a couple events, doing what I need to do.
At least you got a small district to do it in, and not
citywide.
Amen, brother. I know.
And of course, you got a good man helping you in Londell Thomas. I'll kick him in his knees, but I'll save that for another day. But once again, thank you for coming on, and give them the phone number again. Your phone number where they can reach you.
313-574-3537. www.Stapleton